Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. And first off, thanks to Jeff Ventura for filling in for me a couple weeks ago. And on the show today, we're first up is men's soccer. Rudy Pompert joins us, and Rudy's bringing along Fonso Bennett-Williams, an exchange student, a junior from London, England. Up next is cross country and head coach Dustin Dimit, and Dustin's bringing along Arturo Salas. That's his freshman from Buffalo. And then third, and certainly not least, women's volleyball. Head coach Maria DePeters is going to talk about SUNY pool play, along with Sam Parente, her freshman middle hitter from East Patchogue, Long Island. So stick around, we'll be right back with men's soccer. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk a little men's soccer right now, and joining us, Rudy Pompert and Fonso Bennett-Williams. We're going to get to Fonso in a little bit. How about a little progress report? It's been a few weeks since you've been on the show, so the state of the team right now.
Well, we started off really good. We went 7 games undefeated, 5 wins, 2 ties, and then we got into conference games and got a little tougher. Yep. We played Brockport and Geneseo. We played very well against Brockport. We didn't manage to score goals. It's a little bit the story of the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. We lost those 2. Then we played Fredonia in a game where after about 25 minutes, we probably should have been up 3 goals. Right. But then, soccer is a cruel game. And if you don't score, even when you're a lot better than the other team, quite often the other team will put it in the back of the net. So. So the last 4 the last 5 games were conference games. We were 1-4. We beat Oswego last Saturday.
Let's talk. Let me just stop you there, and let's talk about the Oswego game, because that's kind of a catapult now to the rest of the season. A good 2-1 win at home. What went well for you in that game that maybe had not gone right earlier?
Well,
opponents.
We scored goals.
Well, there you go. Yep.
And that's really the only difference. We're out shooting everybody. The goalies on the other team have to make more saves than our goalie has to. But now we're shooting it in the back of the net, and that's really the big difference. Because overall, when you see us play, we're better than the other team, or we're just as good. That we just miss a lot of chances. I mean, against Oswego. We were, after 25 minutes, we were counting, and we had 8 scoring opportunities, and big ones too. So you got to put it in the net.
Is it a matter of the offense getting shots and getting shots on goal, or where would you pinpoint a problem with the offense in scoring goals this year?
It's just the last touch, to put it in the back of the net. That's really what it is, because I think it was at Saturday against Oswego, you have 4 breakaways, so one-on-ones with the goalie. That's just a matter of putting it in the back of the net. And so everything is in place. It's just, that last touch, Absolutely. It's got to go in.
Now then, all the stories that are within a team, this young man next to you is quite a story, an exchange student from London, England, and as they call him Fonz, I'll call you Fonz. Fonz, tell us the story about how someone from London, England ends up at Buffalo State College to play soccer.
Well, my university in England, we have an affiliation with Buff State.
Okay. So
part of my 4-year course at Manchester Metropolitan, it entails a study abroad year. So I had loads of options to come to America, but because Buffalo's in New York and I have family in Queens, New York, it's kind of like a better choice for me instead of going far away from people who I don't know and places I don't really actually have a grasp on. Yep. So coming to Buff State was pretty much the best choice for me.
Have you seen family since you've been here?
Yeah, I came on August 10th, and I stayed in Queens for a week or so.
Fabulous.
And then I came to Buff State on the 19th of August.
Okay.
And my mum and my aunt came up.
Great.
So they moved me in, got me settled, and and then I haven't been back since, but I will be going back next month.
Great.
For Thanksgiving.
Well, we're happy to have you. Tell me, I finally made a trip to Ireland over the summer, and I thought that was fascinating. I know Buffalo, and I know the good things and maybe the bad things about Buffalo. What are your impressions of Buffalo being from England? I'm assuming it's the first time to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've really enjoyed it, actually. I've really enjoyed the city itself. I think it's a beautiful city. I went on the marina, and I did like a trip around Fort Erie.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a beautiful experience. I've got a few pictures,
wow.
so I'll be taking those back. I haven't really toured the city as much as I want to, because I've obviously got classes and I've got training, but once I have the time off, I really want to go around, just really see Buffalo itself.
Right, absolutely. You need to go with the Chamber of Commerce, that's for sure. I'm curious, there is no, as we heard, we were talking off camera, there is no university college soccer in England, it's all club. Tell me the differences then in your club team in England compared to the college brand of soccer over here.
Well, here we obviously train every day, 2 till 4. Back in England, we don't train as much.
Oh.
I feel back in England, it's kind of more technical in terms of like getting the ball down, passing it. But obviously at Buff State, we do that a lot. So it hasn't been like a hard transition for me itself.
Okay.
It's kind of physical in England. And coach will tell you that I've been booked a couple of times for for challenges that are a bit over the top, as they say over here. But I really do feel that Buff State is a great program, and SUNY is tough, but I'm really enjoying it.
We have a playoff push on. We have about 30 seconds left in this segment. Tell me, what has to get you over that playoff hump and into the playoffs for the conference?
Well, we have 4 conference games left. We have to win 3 games.
Okay.
That's just how it is. Now, you know, and we can win 3 games. We start off with Potsdam and Plattsburgh this weekend. They're both games that we can win. You know, and then we have the New Paltz Oneonta weekend. Oneonta is very strong. They're the last game of the season, so hopefully it comes down to that last game of the season.
Well, gentlemen, I wish you the best of luck as we make the push to the SUNY playoffs. Great meeting you, Fonz, and Rudy, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go outside again and talk cross country. Stay with us. We have some weekend home games here at Buffalo State on October 21 and 22. On Friday, the women's soccer team is home at Koyer Field taking on Potsdam. That's a conference game. And then Saturday at noon, football takes the field. The College of New Jersey is here. That's a noon kickoff. And then right after that is women's soccer again at Koyer, taking on Plattsburgh at 3:30. So if you're in town and you want to see some great Division III athletics, come on over to Koyer Field Friday and Saturday. And now we are joined by the cross-country coach, Dustin Dimit, and his outstanding freshman, Arturo Salas. And Dustin, it's been a while since we've had you on the show, so again, why don't you give us a little progress report?
Well, right before the last show, we had just won the Penn State Barron meet on the men's side, and last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I guess it is now, we were at the Paul Short Run at Lehigh University, which is one of the largest college meets in the country. Over 140 college teams there. I believe there are 42 in our race.
And you didn't do too badly.
We didn't. We wanted to do a little better.
Okay.
But we had some people who ran really well and some people who let the conditions. It was pretty muddy. It rained all week there.
So they had to be mudders, as they say in horse racing. The men took 7th out of 42 teams, as you had mentioned earlier, and the women were 21 out of 39. And I'm curious, from a coaching standpoint, is that about where you thought you would be, or did the conditions, although the conditions they're the same way for everybody, but is that where you thought you might be?
The women, that's right where I thought. We thought somewhere between 15th and 20th, and we missed 20th by 2 points. So they were right there. And the men, we thought could finish top 5, and they were 7th. But like I said, Arturo had a pretty good race, and a couple others had good races, but our usual number 2 man was our number 6 man. And some people weren't where we thought they'd be, but hopefully better conditions this weekend and a better mindset, and we'll be good to go.
Correct. Let me ask you about the Paul Short Run. You had mentioned that this is a prestigious meet that a lot of schools go to. Is that a conscious scheduling strategy on your part to get the kids to better competition if you can?
Yeah, our first 2 meets are smaller meets. They're mainly Division II and III competition, and then we like to try to go to some bigger meets that have more teams, because the regional championships will have 40 to 60 teams in them. So running in those kind of conditions, how you have to get out compared to a 15-team meet where it's harder to move up in a race with that many people. So to get those chances at Oberlin and at Lehigh are definitely conscious scheduling to give us a chance to try out those conditions, get better competition, and really prepare for SUNYX and regionals.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you had mentioned Arturo having a terrific meet, 12th out of 357 runners. To me, that's awfully good. And we were talking off camera that your time at the 8K race, 26:45, and you go, oh, it's not really that good. But it was muddy. I mean, was it okay for the muddy course, or did you think you were going to run a little bit better even despite the mud?
Yeah, despite the mud, I thought I definitely could have ran faster.
Okay.
But I didn't.
So, well, you know, I'm always curious, what would be a good time, and then was it just, I mean, what happens on the course that doesn't get you quite to the time you want?
Well, definitely like the hills and like the conditions, the weather, always a factor. The mud this time was pretty bad, so they definitely slowed the time down a lot.
I'm a complete novice when it comes to cross country, but when it's muddy, different shoes like you would for football, maybe different. I mean, are there different sneakers that the kids wear?
We do have racing flats and spikes.
Okay.
Usually we race in spikes unless it's been really dry and the ground's really hard.
Okay.
Now the size of the spike we're allowed to change as well. So as we move ahead, I mean, we try not to use really long spikes early, and that puts a little more pressure on your legs. But at SUNYX or regionals, if it was really muddy, you could break out up to like a half-inch spike.
Whoa.
Most of the time, it's a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch spike.
Right. So it's very similar to football and changing shoes and spikes and all that. I'm curious. We had talked that how you first started running. It's an unconventional, not unconventional, but it's not, you know, it's not one of the glory sports of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever. And I'm always curious how you get started in cross-country running. When did it happen for you?
Oh, well, actually it started when I was like a sophomore, and we were in gym just running around, and then my coach was like, you definitely should come run. And I was like, all right, I'll try it out. And then I ran for him a little bit because they had like practices for track. And then he said, just train with us over the summer. And I don't know, he said like, you'll be great. That's like the one thing I remember him saying.
And that was at Hutch Tech?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just ran over the summer, and I just started getting better, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously if you get better, you like it more, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that kind of helps too. And Buffalo State has turned out to be a nice choice. You've had some options to go to, and here we are at Buff State, and you're leading the men as a freshman.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels pretty good. I looked at a couple other colleges, like they're all right, but I had a couple friends who came here before I got here, and they said it was pretty good. And then I looked at the cross country team, and I don't know, they're pretty good. So I just wanted to see if I could come out with them.
Is the season you're having surprising you where you're finishing? I mean, not just leading Buffalo State, but I mean, you're finishing 12th out of 350 runners. Is that surprising for you, especially since you've been running for basically 2.5 years?
Yeah, I guess, because when I first came here, I thought I was going to be like 4th in the team.
Yeah.
Then, I don't know, I just kind of like got better, and I'm number 1, I guess.
Did you realize what you had here when you recruited him and he came to Buffalo State?
Well, recruiting, Arturo had qualified for states out of Section 6 last year in cross country, but we knew he had a lot of potential talking to his coach, knowing that he started as a junior. I had a similar experience starting later, and a lot of times those are people I look for in the recruiting process because a lot of times they have a lot of untapped potential, and didn't really realize how good he could be right away until the second or third workout, when we just kept doing workouts and he kept running faster and faster, and he still didn't look tired, and we kept having to increase the volume. So finally we've got to the level where he's pretty tired at the end of workouts, and but with that he keeps running faster and faster and finishing high up, and has a good chance to be all SUNYAC and hopefully all region as well.
What a terrific story. That's fantastic. This weekend you're at Oberlin College, and they call this the tune-up, quote unquote, for the SUNYACs, excuse me. What do we mean by a tune-up? I mean, when it comes to cross country and your philosophy as a coach, I'm assuming we're trying to peak. Is this a meet where, Arturo, just go out as fast as you can? Or do you try to, we're still pacing it, getting ready for SUNYACs? What's the philosophy here?
Well, our training started changing up at the end of last week and the beginning of this week, where we start running a little bit faster in workouts. And this meet will be our kids' probably fastest time of the season, just because the format of the course, it's pretty flat.
Okay.
There's great drainage if it does rain, things like that, and the competition. Last year I think there were 15 or 20 of the top 35 teams in the country were there. So this is a great chance for especially some of our top athletes like Arturo and Sabrina, who was on last time, to really kind of see where they are and get a chance to go out faster, experiment with that, and see if that's what he wants to do at regional. SUNYX is a smaller meet, so you have more time to kind of be able to move up.
Okay.
But it's just a chance for us to start running fast, gain some confidence going into SUNYX. A couple of our SUNYX competitors will be there as well, so we can kind of see how we match up with them. And but we are holding a couple of our athletes out that are a little dinged up, so it's not something where it's like, well, we really have to do well at this meet, because the only meets that really matter are SUNYX and regionals.
Is this course similar to the SUNYAC course?
Now, the SUNYAC course this year is really hilly, and this is pancake flat. So our training's been a little bit different with a lot more hills this year to prepare for that. And same with the regional course, it's hillier than usual as well. So, but this course is just a chance for them to get fast times and really get a confidence boost going in, knowing what they're capable of.
This competition, being able to run against better competition, does that push you? Is that something where you sense that and it makes you a better runner?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I know I have to beat someone better than me, that definitely gives you like the confidence boost to go out faster, just keep my pace.
Right.
Definitely.
Now, we've got less than a minute. I wanted to spend a little more time, but you and I are talking about maybe bringing a Division III Nationals to Buffalo and Buffalo State. And yet first, before we get to that point and apply, we have to do something else, right? What are the steps to getting a national championship?
Well, first, you have to show that you have the capability of hosting a championship meet. So we are looking at sites to possibly host regionals in the next year or two. And then from there, if we host a nice regional, we'll put in a bid for nationals and go from there and try to bring a national championship here again, like we had in basketball when the sports arena was first opened, and then hopefully bring more. I know we're going to try to get the Buffalo Sports Commission involved as well, and really make it a community affair for athletics.
Hundreds of runners and thousands of families, and that'll be a great thing for Buffalo State and Buffalo, New York. Gentlemen, thanks for being on the show. Best of luck at Oberlin as we tune up for the SUNYX. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go inside now and talk volleyball. Stay with us. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bengal Magazine. We're going to finish up the show. Certainly not least in our books is women's volleyball. Maria DePeters is joining us, along with Sam Parente, a freshman from East Patchogue, which is on Long Island. I love saying that name. It's been a while since we've had you on the show, and right after we had you on the show, you went into SUNYAC pool play. Yeah. And boy, let's start with a great progress report and what happened in pool play.
It was awesome. It was
it really was.
A great Friday, a great Saturday. You know, going into it, we were a little nervous because we were playing a little bit up and down, and the girls did not seem nervous. They came out with guns blazing. Their attitudes, their enthusiasm, their drive, their desire to win. And we went in that whole week of practice, you know, studying the teams, really focusing on their weaknesses and their strong points and how do we attack them and take them out of play, and how are we going to be successful against these teams. And I definitely think that helped because the girls went in and just completely dominated the other team. I mean, we beat Geneseo in 3 and Fredonia in 3 sets.
Was it kind of, well, first of all, did you sense that the team was going to do some great things that week? That's the first time it's ever been done in Buffalo State history, a sweep in pool play. Did you sense something special in the locker room and the girls in the week leading up to it?
Yeah, everyone was just really excited for the most part. Like, you can just tell that they really wanted it because, like, everyone knows that, like, they're enemies kind of thing. Like, they're rivals, and, like, they always talk down about us. So everyone just wanted to prove a point.
Sure. And people should understand what pool play means, and in fact, I had to get some understanding of it today. It's really conference play leading into the playoffs. So pool play a month ago and pool play coming up really decides who gets into the playoffs and not. So it's really conference games rather than pool play, and that's what's so critical about it. And I think it's critical that how you won these matches. The Fredonia, they hadn't been swept, I think, all year, and then all of a sudden Buffalo State sweeps them. Was it surprising at all, especially that match?
It definitely was, because when we go into Fredonia, Fredonia is always the top dog who we want to beat, and you know, I definitely thought that it was going to be a 5-set match. I knew that we had the potential to beat them. Did I think that we would beat them in 3? No, I didn't. But coaching that game was just such an honor because, you know, I didn't really have to coach the girls. We did that in practice. I got to sit back and watch everything come together, and that's exactly what happened in that match.
And now, and you don't want to kind of say a surprise. I mean, you've arrived. The team is here. The program is here now, and now it's somewhat, I don't know if it's expected, but there's got to be a big confidence boost here going into the next pool play, knowing what you did about a month ago.
Definitely, and you know, the biggest thing for these girls is walking in knowing that now we're the top dog that all the teams are going to come after.
That's
so
right.
we have to go in there and expect that these teams are out to get us because we're 4-0. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to, you know, attack right back at these teams and be successful so potentially we can go 4-0 again?
Now let's talk about Sam, a freshman, and tell us about, you did recruit her all the way down in Long Island. Tell me about the recruiting process and how you ended up at Buffalo State.
We like talked over the phone. I came visit, I think, in May.
Okay.
And me and my mom both liked her. Like she brings like a family program, which is I'm from. Okay. When I was in high school, I played with all cousins, sisters. So like coming here was like kind of similar.
Great.
In a way, so I like it a lot.
And where does, you know, there's some parents who are viewing this. Where does a coach find out about a student athlete from Long Island? How did you first understand that Sam was a pretty good player? Oh, now they're laughing. Maybe I shouldn't go into this, but
no. Actually, like the whole family aspect of Buffalo State, we're a family too as a coaching staff, and I actually found out about her through a football coach because, you know, she knew someone that played on the football team, and he mentioned something about her back in the fall and back in winter, and so I got video on her and really liked her. So, you know, everyone's always helping each other out in this program, so it was great. It was a great
So who knows whom and et cetera, et cetera. It's all about relationships, isn't it? Your season, leading the team in kills, are you surprised as a freshman that you've come from a high school program and have made such an impact at the college program?
Yeah, I definitely am. It was like, it's a big step from like high school to college, even club. Like it's a faster game, which I'm like trying to keep up in a way.
Yeah, no, I could understand that, and that's why so many freshmen don't play, because it's a quicker game in all sports. On a bit of a win streak up until last night, but I thought one of the nice wins recently was over the University of Rochester, and I think you agreed off camera. Tell us a little bit about that match and the things that went right for you.
Definitely. We lost to University of Rochester earlier in the season at the RIT tournament, and you know, we're at the point in the season where we're starting to play every team twice. So we said to these girls, how do we want to end our last half of the season? We want to end on high notes. We want to beat teams that we've previously lost to. And it was a great game. We definitely, you know, scouted them again, watched film on them before, and learned, you know, really focus on who their big hitters are, what their weaknesses are, and it went to 5 sets, and it was a great 5-set win. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, collegiate volleyball is really exciting, and those 5-set matches are just a joy to watch. That's for sure. Let's get back into pool play then. Going into in a week or so is pool play down at Brockport. Very curious. She had mentioned about teams now. You're on the radar screen. How do you feel as a student athlete going into Brockport and facing the same teams that you had just swept?
I like competition. I enjoy that. I think we just have to boost our level even more and like play better because now they know our like skills. They know where to hit our weak spots and everything. So now we just have to bring it more to the table. Do
you sense that the target will be on your back? That you know, I'm sure you didn't make any friends at Fredonia. No,
I know the target's on our back. Talking to other coaches in the conference, not even in just SUNYAC West, talking to coaches at SUNYAC at East that were like, "Wow, we've heard about you." And you know, and the other half of pool play, they're like, we can't believe Buff State went 4-0 this weekend, and now they're nervous for us if we do make SUNYAC playoffs and them playing us. So we definitely know it, but we can't focus on that. What we have to focus on is still maybe going in there thinking we're going in 0-4, and how are we going to beat these teams? Not concentrating. Yeah, we had a great first weekend, but that weekend potentially can mean nothing if we don't produce that second weekend.
And as you're playing now, going into pool play, are you peaking? Do you are there areas of your game that you're working on in some of these non-conference game matches that you're doing now?
There's always areas of the game that we have to work on, and actually this point in the season we have a couple of players stepping up that weren't starters in the first half of the season that are actually now stepping up to be starters in the second half. So that ultimately changes our whole lineup around, and I definitely think we're improving every day. I always say we're going to get 10% better every week, and we're doing that. And yeah, there's up and downs in games, and now we just have to get consistent.
Well, ladies, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And let's see if we can mirror what happened in pool play a month ago. That would be fantastic. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bango Magazine. Thanks to everybody here in Instructional Resources and my man Jeff Ventura for all of his stats. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Bango Magazine.